During the First Punic War, it is estimated that around 1 million people were killed. As the historian Polybius said, it was the longest and most severely contested war in history. Carthage was already considered a naval superpower and was hugely involved in trade. Rome had just gained control of the Italian peninsula and was filled with confidence. The island of Sicily was previously split between Carthage in the west, Syracuse in the southeast, and Italian mercenaries called Mamertines in the northeast. The Mamertines called themselves the Sons of Mars and were a group that helped start the Punic War. The Mamertines managed to capture Messana from Syracuse and promptly took all of the women from Messana as their wives. 265 BC, Ero II got power in Syracuse and immediately took focus on the Mamertines in Messana in an attempt to stop the raiding and also to win back the city of Syracuse. The raid worked so well that the Mamertines were forced to ask Rome and Carthage for help. Rome originally declined, but after learning that Carthage had accepted, Rome decided to accept, worried that Carthage would gain too much control in Sicily. Roman legions were sent to Sicily for the first time and opened the First Punic War on Carthage. Rome wanted to abandon Messana altogether, whereas Carthage wanted to stand and fight. Because of this disagreement, Carthage abandoned the alliance and sided with Syracuse to try to send Rome home. The Syracusan navy, along with the Carthaginian army, attacked Messana, but were held off. Rome gained firm control of Messana. Rome sent two armies under Valerius and Ottocilius Crassus in an effort to gain complete control of Sicily. Rome gained several victories under these two generals and soon focused their sights on Syracuse. Valerius sent a large army against Ero, who immediately abandoned Carthage and started negotiations with Rome. He agreed to give Rome complete control of Messana and to pay Rome 100 talents for the next 15 years. Once Rome had control of eastern Sicily, they pushed toward the west, where they were met at Agrigentum by a Carthaginian force. After 7 months, a battle that lasted into 261 BC ended with a Roman victory. All of the residents were sold as slaves, and the focus was then shifted to all the Greek cities that had allied with Carthage. However, Carthage was still dominating the sea with its massive naval fleet. Rome knew that the only way they could win the war was to match Carthage at sea. The Carthaginian navy quickly recovered lost coastal cities with little resistance from the Romans. At this time, the Roman navy was still very small and was made up of even smaller triremes, which had no chance against the Carthaginian quinquiremes. The Romans had to either surrender or try to build a significantly larger navy. According to Polybius, Rome found a beached quinquireme and managed to copy the design. The Senate ordered 100 quinquiremes to be made in 60 days. Soon the Romans had a decent-sized navy and were ready to challenge the Carthaginians. In the early battles, the Romans found that their skills at sea would never be good enough to defeat the Carthaginians. However, the Romans developed an invention called a corvus in order to use their traditional strength of land power to their advantage. A corvus is a 35-foot-long swiveling bridge that could be attached to an enemy ship in order to board it instead of trying to outmaneuver and ram the enemy ship. The first time that a corvus was used in battle, 143 Roman ships defeated 130 Carthaginian ones, capturing 31 and sinking 14, a tremendous success. Over the next few years, the Romans saw similar victories in towns on the islands of Corsica and Sardinia. Although they did not take complete control, it was still a major loss for Carthage. Even with these victories, the stalemate in Sicily continued. Rome felt that the only way to achieve victory was to invade North Africa itself. In preparing to sail, the two fleets met at the Battle of Economus off of southern Sicily. Once again, Rome got an important victory, and a path was cleared all the way to Carthage. After a stunning Roman defeat of an army of 20,000 troops, led by Attilas Regulus. A rescue force was sent to recover any troops from the battle that were still alive. During what Polybius called the worst naval disaster ever known, nearly 70% of the 264-ship fleet and approximately 100,000 men were lost when the ships hit a storm. Rome's invasion of Africa turned out to be a major failure. Despite this, Carthage never really seemed to take advantage of this disaster, and even with Carthage's attempts at peace, Rome still rebuilt its army. They attacked Carthage once more, but lost 90 ships out of 123, while Carthage only lost 10. 247 BC was when Hamilcar Barca finally entered the war. Until the rise of power of his son, Hannibal, Hamilcar was the best commander that Carthage had ever produced. Quickly he assumed the chief command in Sicily, which by this time was almost completely controlled by Rome, except for a few cities. He used guerrilla tactics against Rome from western Sicily and gained control of Mount Esserte. Even with countless Roman attacks on it, he managed to hold it until 244 BC, where his army was still undefeated. In 244 BC, Hamilcar suddenly attacked the Roman defenses on Mount Eryx and occupied a part of it, but was unable to take complete control. There he stayed for a while, constantly harassing Rome. When he and his troops finally returned to Carthage, they had still not lost a single battle. The war came to a stall, and, eventually, Carthage ran out of money and decided that the war had to come to an end. The Carthaginian Senate, which did not want to commit itself to the surrender, asked Hamilcar to negotiate the peace treaty, but he too passed it off to his fellow commander Jesco. Jesco negotiated a decent deal. Rome got complete control of Sicily, and Carthage could not attack Syracuse. Carthage also lost some additional islands, 1,000 talents, and was forced to pay Rome 220 additional talents for the next 10 years. This was the end of the First Punic War. In a book by Paul Anderson, the situation of if Carthage had won the Punic Wars is discussed. He describes a situation in which Judaism and Islam do not exist, and neither does Christianity. There was no science and the technological process was slow. Even if Carthage had managed to just survive the war, history still would have been very different. Roman expansion would have been much more limited. With Carthage there to supply the rebel states, such as Palestine, with the money and goods that they needed, there would be some other major threats for Rome. This also would have had a large effect on some of the preceding Roman leaders, many of which got their fame by helping to expand the Roman Empire. Even Julius Caesar, without the ability to expand the Roman Empire so easily, would not be nearly as famous. The Punic Wars are important because they show the fall of Carthage and the start of Rome's domination.